Hey, what's up gentlemen and ladies? Welcome back to another Final Fantasy discussion, and today I got another Final Fantasy 15 character video for you guys. So today's character was suggested by quite a number of people, so huge shoutouts to Tinchi Forever, GamerGirl630, DrakeKid7, Ikune, High on Clouds, Plasma Tempest 39, the Sanaros1, and Eric Boykins for suggesting the character of Gladio, one that was actually very popular following his episode of Brotherhood, which I am for once not actually that behind on, and this month's character Ignis I already did a video on, so yes, for once in my life ahead of the game. Anyways, about Gladio himself, his full name is actually Gladiolus Amicitia, and he's been a friend of Noctis and Ignis for a long time. He is the eldest son of the Amicitia family, although as of the moment we've only gotten to see his dad Clarius and his younger sister Iris, but he does presumably have more siblings. They have been serving the royal family for quite some time, as we do see Clarius was a good friend of Regis when they were younger in A King's Tale, and Gladio himself helped Noctis train and fight in his youth. This is the reason why they actually became friends to begin with. See, at first, Gladio didn't really like Noctis and kind of rightfully thought that he was a spoiled brat. However, after his sister got lost, not only did Noctis save her and bring her back, but he lied to his dad about it and took the blame. After this, Gladio kind of started warming up to Noctis, which is when they eventually became close friends, and now here we are at the beginning of the game when he is Noct's bodyguard on the trip. Although nowadays it seems like most people favor Noctis and Prompto, back in the episode Duske days, Gladio pretty much across the board scored as everyone's favorite character from the demo's survey. It seemed like everybody was a fan of Gladio, and it's not very hard to see why. Now, voice-wise, we still don't have any confirmation on the English dub. However, in Japanese, he was voiced by Hiroki Yosumoto back in the Versus 13 days. However, for unknown reasons, this was later changed to Kenta Miyake when the game was rebranded to 15. It seems like at first, when we got to hear Gladio in the English dub, he was trying a little bit too hard to go for the tough guy voice, but since then, like most other characters, it's been toned down quite a bit. Except for Ignis. I don't care what anybody says, to me he still sounds like an American doing his best at a super stereotypical British accent and just comes off as racist, but moving on. The interesting part about Gladio, to me personally, is him gameplay-wise, at least in terms of weapons, cause, see, while Prompto may be able to cast debuffs and Ignis act as a sort of pseudo-mage, in terms of their weapons, Noctis can pretty much do what they can do. We've seen him use daggers, we've seen him use firearms. However, with Gladio, even though Noctis can use big greatswords, as we see in both Episode Duske and the Platinum demo, Gladio, if playable, would have still provided a new gameplay style of sorts, because he is a little bit better with them than Noctis, for example. See, for obvious balancing reasons, the Buster Swords were made very strong, but very slow, and this definitely shows in Noct's animations while he's using them. However, since Gladio himself is stronger, he can handle them a bit faster, and would have basically just been an all-out attacker, not necessarily at the sacrifice of speed. Now, in terms of appearance, Gladio did also go through some changes like the others, except in his case, it was more to do with his outfit than anything else. He basically has the same face. It was really just his hair and clothing that got the redesign, but even then, nothing as extreme as Noct's outfit change or Prompto's hair change. Personality-wise, I guess he's supposed to be the stereotypical tough guy of the group. He is a little bit more upbeat than Noctis, and he likes to fight and train, obviously, seeing as how that was his job in the Royal Palace at Lucis. We even see in Brotherhood Episode 3 that him and Noctis kind of like to play a game while they're out and about defeating enemies. They keep track of how many each of them has killed, and they always try to outdo each other, Legolas and Gimli style. Seeing as how his family are the protectors of the Kellum household, he is very protective of the prince, however, not as much as Ignis, ironically. Moving on to his name, Gladiolus, just like his sister Iris's name, is a type of flower, but also means something in Latin. Gladiolus is the diminutive form of the word gladius, which is a type of sword very commonly used back in the Roman Empire, although you could basically say that the word gladius itself basically is just the Latin word for sword, which again makes sense considering he is the fighter of the group. His last name, Amicitia, means friendship in Latin, which makes way more sense having seen Brotherhood and how close he was with Noctis, probably the closest of any other character that we've seen so far. Now, the name doesn't exactly translate very well, but more or less it means something like sword of friendship or short sword friend, something along those lines. And there you guys have it. That is basically most of the things that we know regarding Gladio's character in Final Fantasy 15. As usual, if there's any characters that you would like me to cover next, be sure to tell me in the comments. However, two quick little disclaimers on that. First of all, like I mentioned in my last video, I'm not going to be covering any of the Kingsglaive characters, as I already have enough to do as is. Sorry to everyone who suggested Nyx. And also, if there's any character that is in the main game but has a big focus in Kingsglaive like Glauca or Ravis, I'm gonna be waiting until after the movie releases to cover them. Again, sorry for anyone who suggested them, but I do want to wait until we know a little bit more about them. That being said, there is still quite a list of people left to talk about, so be sure to let me know in the comments who you would like to see in my next video, and maybe you'll get a shout out. Either way though, that is all that I have for you guys today. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to blitz that like button, subscribe, and as always, stay tuned for all things Final Fantasy!